guys, and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this sweater, this beautiful sweater. Okay, and there are a few things that are quite important. We are going to be making quite a few measurements. We are going to be measuring our wrists and also either your hips or your waist. It depends on where you want your jumper to sit. So this is basically what I'm talking about, the ribbing. If you want it to be sitting at your hips, then you will be measuring your hips. So we are going to be measuring, and I prepared an equation to make, for example, the ribbing fit exactly to your wrist. Basically how to reduce this sleeve to make it fit exactly. So why I'm talking about it is that you should use the same hook as me, because the equation I use, there are some numbers that are like fixed based on the number, based on the hook I use. Okay, so if you use different hook, then also the number would be different. You see what I mean? But if you don't have the hook, I'm also explaining in the equation how you can get the number, how basically the fixed number in my equation is the height of each single crochet row. And for me it was 0.7 centimeters or 0.27 inches. But obviously if you use a different hook, smaller hook, bigger hook, then it will not fit. But again, if you don't have 7mm hook and you don't want to buy it or whatever, then you can also measure the height. You just make like a test row and you measure it in height. Then again, obviously if you use a different size of hook, it will not look like this. If you use smaller hook, then your sweater will be like more dense and rigid, and if you use like a larger hook, it will be even more light. There will be more gaps, and it will be maybe almost like a mesh fabric, but that's up to you if you want it to be like that. And next thing I want to talk about is how this sweater is made. Let's take a look at it. This is basically something like Hexagon cardigan, but it is a jumper, as you can see. And firstly you make this part, okay, let's see, this part, and then you make this part exactly the same way. Why I'm talking about it? You should know what is a part of this sweater, so you know that how to adjust it to your size. So we will first be making like this whole construction. So you just crochet and you will see like, yeah, this is half of the sweater, so I know when to stop and when it is like already half of my body. If you want it oversized or just right fit, it is up to you. So that's the only reason I'm explaining it, so you know what you're doing and you can adjust it based on that. And that's basically everything that you should know about this tutorial, and I think we can start. If you have any questions at all, you can definitely leave them in the comments and I will get back to you, I promise. So if you find anything unclear or any part of the tutorial was like weird and you didn't understand what I meant, then you can definitely leave me a comment and I will try my best to help. So let's start. I'm going to use this yarn, this cake. I just bought it in the local shop, so you won't be able to get this anywhere, but I will put in the description a similar one and also the weight of the yarn that I used. It calls for 5mm hook, but we are going to use 7mm hook just because I don't like when the project is too heavy on me. So there is that, and also scissors. And I'm also going to use this yarn to create the ribbing, but you can use whatever kind of color. I think the specifications are quite similar, so it is just a different color. These are some of the more things you will need. If you also want to add the buttons like me, you will need obviously buttons. I'm going to use this one. Then a needle, small enough so it can fit like through these holes, and some kind of thread. And you will also need this measuring tape, because we will be measuring our wrists and hips or waist. And yeah, and you will also need a weaving needle, or I'm also using sometimes like a smaller hook to weave in the loose ends. So I use like a smaller needle than which I'm currently using. So this time I'm going to use this 3mm hook. Okay, after some struggle, as you can see, I managed to find the center pull, but this is kind of, I know, looking weird, so I will just cut a small piece of it. And we will start by making a magic circle, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. It's not anything too scary. I know some people are scared of it, but it really just needs some practice. So let's hold our two fingers like this. Let's put the yarn like this. So the short tail is here and the yarn is coming from here. Now we come with the yarn from behind, like so, and we create a cross. You don't have to really pull it, just very lightly put it like this. And now you have two strands, and you go below this one, again very lightly, and pull up this one. Pull it up and rotate it, okay? And then you will get this yarn. At this point I like to get it off my fingers, and I just pull it through. Okay, so that's our magic circle. And now we are going to be working double crochets, and some people like to just chain 3 and call that their first double crochet, but I don't like that, so I do it like this. Let me show you. So I go through the circle, I pull up a loop, I have 2 loops, I yarn over and pull through 2, and then I go through this one, and be careful not to go too far, because then you can just unravel it, kind of. So, and you yarn over and you pull through 1 loop, and you have 2 loops again, and you yarn over and you pull through 2. So that's our first double crochet, and this will be our first stitch right here. So this is where we'll be slip stitching into. If you have trouble seeing it, then maybe you should put a stitch marker here, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, now let's do double crochet. So we yarn over, go through the circle, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so let's do that again. Yarn over, go through the circle, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, my kids are fighting a little. Okay, now let's chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we do the same cluster as here, just now we will not be doing this special double crochet, because there is no longer need for it. We will just do 3 double crochets. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. And now, maybe you guessed it, 3 chains again. It's 1, 2 and 3. And now you will continue until you have 6 of these clusters. So 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and then also 3 chains. So we will meet somewhere around here. So now I am here. I made my last cluster and 3 chains. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters and 3 chains in between of them. So let's see again. We made 1 fake double crochet, then 2 more, then 3 chains, cluster, 3 chains, cluster. Cluster is basically consisting of these 3 double crochets. So 3 chain here, cluster, 3 chain here, cluster, 3 chain here, cluster, 3 chain. And now let's slip stitch to the very first double crochet, just like so. And now some people would maybe start working here, but I don't do that because then sometimes I can see like the tilt or just the some holes are bigger than others. So what I do is I slip stitch to the next stitch, and I slip stitch again to the next stitch. So that's 2 slip stitches and 1 more slip stitch into the free space. And now I just chain 1 because then it is easier to work the stitches. And now I'm going to do my first double crochet, and I'm going to do it the same way. So I will pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, then go through this loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, and you have again 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's our first, and I will do 2 more. So we will have 3, 1, 2. Okay, now I will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and place 3 more double crochets in the very same space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now, without chaining anything, we will just place 3 double crochets in the very next free space, in the very next 3 chains. So that's 1, that's 2, and 3. Then you probably guessed it, 3 more chains, 1, 2, 3, and then in the very same space 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now again, without any chains, we will be working the same way in all the free spaces. So now I will just place 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in this free space, and in all the free spaces. And when you get here, the very last free space, you will again place 3 double crochets, 3 chains and 3 double crochets, then not chain anything and just slip stitch here. So now I am at the end again. So as you can see, and in each of the free spaces, the 3 chains, I place 3 double crochets and 3 chains and 3 double crochets in each of it. So now I'm at the end. Now I'm not going to chain, and I will just slip stitch here, just like so. And now, as you can see, you also have these kind of spaces which also kind of looks like this, but it is different. So we will be treating these spaces and these 3 chains differently. So now we are here. Let me chain 1, and we are going to make 3 double crochets in this space, and I will start with my usual 2 single crochets stacked on each other like so, and 2 more, 1, 2, like so. And now in these 3 chains you will continue with 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, then 3 chains and 3 double crochets again. Now we have this space again. We will place 3 double crochets in this space. You just have to be careful to not confuse these 3 chains with this space. So just 3 double crochets, And now in the next 3 chains you will again place 3 double crochets, 3 chains and 3 double crochets, then again 3 double crochets here, then again 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and all over until you get here basically, and then you will just slip stitch here. Okay, so we are now here. As you can see, I placed 3 double crochets in each space, then 3 double crochets and 3 chains in each 3 chains, so everywhere, as you can see. And now I'm going to again slip stitch the very first double crochet, and just continue the same way as the previous row. So I will place 3 double crochets here, so 1 fake, 2 real, and then you also have a free space here, 2. So there 2. Then here we will do our usual 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets. Then you have here like these 2 free spaces. Then again 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here. Again usual 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and all over. And as you continue your rounds, you should also be able to see that with each round the number of these free spaces, I mean these, not these 3 chains, is increasing. So here it was 1, then here it was 2, now it was 3, in the next round it will be 4, 5, and so on. But what stays the same is the number of these pointy ends. So that's what you will have the same, so it will be always 6. So, and that's how you also know if you didn't skip any stitches, or if you didn't place 3 chains somewhere where you were not supposed to. So that's how you can kind of check your work. And as you continue making your rounds and placing 3 double crochets in each of the free spaces, and in each of the 3 chains you place 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, then in the end you should have something like this. And what we are going to do is these 2 points, we have to place them together like so. Now I will just get it like this, and now it looks like this. So basically I placed 2 of the closest points together, and now it has this kind of shape. Up to you how many rounds you want to make. I settled for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's how big I want my jumper to be. And now you have to make the same panel, exactly the same one as this one, and I already have it here. So I place them together like this, and you can already see it has like a jumper shape. And now you can pin it here and try it on to see if the jumper is right fit. But remember that if you add rounds to this piece, you will also have to add rounds to this piece as well, so to both of them. And once you are satisfied with the dimension, you are going to single crochet this line together all the way. And the way I'm going to make it is, firstly I make sure I crochet on the inside, so these pretty sides will be outside, and I'm going to insert the yarn in the last chain of the 3 chain space, so that's here. Also the same thing here. Let's get the yarn, and I will just simply pull it through, and I will create a knot just like that. And then in the very same space where I attached the yarn, I will work my chain 1 like so, and then in the space next to it, in the stitch next to it, I will put a single crochet, but I will just crochet Well, I was planning to only work the crochets only in the outer stitches, but I think I'm going to do both stitches, so all four. 1, 2, 3 and 4, like so. So just a single crochet in each stitch all the way. So this is not anything too complicated, so we can meet when we have it ready. And now that we have that, we are going to make the sleeves, and we will be crocheting here now. So this is my jumper, but I want this section to be opened like this, and that means that also when it comes to sleeves you can't crochet all the way. So let's say that I'm going to keep 1, 2, 3, 4 of these sections without any stitching, and the same thing here. So once again we will be crocheting here from the inside, of course, just like here, and then also here, and that will create like the sleeve. So now I turn it inside out, so now it is easier to crochet like this. And again I will 1, 2, 3, 4 leave these 1, 2, 3, 4 sections without any stitching, and just like before I will start here in this first stitch, first chain, also here, and then I will go all the way, and okay, that's really nice. Okay, but whatever, and I will stop like here. Okay, my sleeves are looking like this now, and now the last line I will crochet, the last connection will be this, and here I will also leave 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4 without the stitching, like that. And again I will turn it inside out like before, and I will just single crochet this line. Now my jumper is looking like this, and I'm already in love with it, but as you can see the sleeves are very short, and what I'm actually going to do is all the way to finish this sleeve I'm going to make a ribbing. So we are going to start by chain. We are going to attach a chain here and make the chain as long as you want your sleeve to be. I have my one cuff already made, and we are going to start with the second one, and you need to know that there will be a little bit of mathematics but it's not really anything too complicated. You just have to listen carefully, and I'm sure everyone can do this. Okay, but let's start with the easy part. I attached my yarn here. You can attach it wherever, it doesn't matter, but I prefer it to always attach it at the bottom of the sleeve. And you are going to start by chaining, and how many chains you make, it is really up to you, because basically now it is a good idea to try on your jumper and to see how much the sleeve is still missing in length, you know. So you try it on and you chain until you get somewhere around here, or whatever. If you prefer longer sleeves, you can come here even, and it is a good idea to make the chain a little bit smaller, maybe like 2 to 3 chains, bigger, like 2 to 3 chains bigger, because the chain can shrink a little bit once you begin working your stitches. And I made 22 chains, so I made already 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. And now you should work your first stitch in the second chain, so you should basically make one more chain, but I already am counting with that. So now let's make our first single crochet here. So we just go through the chain, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, and you will be chaining you will be placing single crochets all the way in each chain. So I will have 21, since I have 22 chains minus 1, so I should have 21 single crochets, and you have whatever number you have. So let's meet there actually. Okay, so now that I have my one row ready, I already need to get to the mathematics part. So first thing you need to do is measure your wrist, this measurement. Okay, you just get your measuring tape and measure, and for me it is 16 centimeters. Okay, and I have to divide it by 0.7. Why 0.7? Because it is the height of each single crochet row in centimeters. So if you are doing this in inches, you also have to measure your rows in inches, but be careful, don't measure just one row, because now it looks bigger. Measure at least 2 and then divide it by 2, and that's how you should get this number. Okay, and now I get, I think, like 22, somewhere around 22. If you get 22.1, 22.3, then just round it down, or 22.67, round it up. Okay, and this number is basically the number of rows we are going to have around our cuffs. Okay, and now what you should do, you have to count your stitches all around, and it is not too difficult, because you just have to count these sections, which I have 20, and then just multiply it by 3, and then I also have to add these 4 chains, because 1 chain was used in the stitching, so 2 are left here and 2 are left here, so that's 4. So that's 64 stitches for me. 64 stitches. And now I have to divide this number by this number, and I get something around 3. Okay, this is not an exact science, so you just have to round it down or up. And when you have this, you have to multiply this number by 2, and we get 6. Why do we multiply it by 2? Because, let me show you actually really quick on this cuff that is already made. When I go here and I skip 6, I also come back. So I basically skip 6 stitches and make 2 rows. So that means that each of the rows needs 3. So that's this number. But we already have to skip 6 here. Okay, so if that makes sense. And now I'm going to show you how we do the stitching. So now the number we got, which is 6, is the number of stitches we are going to skip now. But we are not just going to skip them, we are also going to try to work with them, so there is not like a big gap, you know. So we are here, and you insert your hook in the next stitch, then in the next stitch. So that's 1, 2, third stitch, fourth stitch, 5th stitch, and 6th stitch, or whatever number of stitches you have, the number of stitches you got by the calculation. Now I just get the yarn. It doesn't matter if you yarn over or yarn under, and you pull it through like so, and you try to get it quite tight, and you just slip stitch here. Now you just turn it around, and you will be working in the back stitches only, single crochet again, and you will be working back stitches all the way except this last stitch, so you just go let's meet here actually. I was working in my back stitches, and now in the last stitch I will be working through both stitches and insert single crochet also. Now I'm going to turn my work like so, and I'm not going to chain one now anymore, but this first stitch also work through both loops, okay, and you make a single crochet, and then you start working in the back loops again. Okay, let's meet in the end again. So now I am here, and I'm also going to work in the back stitch of this last stitch, and this one is a bit trickier because it's quite tight, so you have to hold it and you work single crochet. And now we will skip 6 stitches again, and you take a look, and as you can see this one is already taken, so we start here. Okay, you have to see that there is already like a stitch. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and I pull it through, and I slip stitch, and I turn it around, and again I will be working in the back stitches all the way, and in the last stitch I will use both stitches. And now I think the process is already pretty clear, so you come to the end, put your last stitch here in both stitches, then turn around, work single crochets in the back stitches, unless the first one will be in both stitches. You go, then you skip 6, turn around, and so on. I now go to my chain space, and I want to show you how I just go about it. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here there are 2 chains. So what I do is I just go through the last one here, and I pull it, and then basically there are no left chains, and I will also start here, and okay, let me show you still. Then I will crochet this way, then I will come back, and here I will not go like through this chain and this chain, I will just go through this space, and I will count 2 stitches, then I will go through here 3, 4, 5 and 6, and just continue like normal, like I would normally do. I am at the end now, and I have 21 rows, and I will make one more. Here in the end I have only like 2 stitches left, which is normal because we were not working with exact numbers, so it is normal that I don't have like 6 stitches left, so I just use this last 2 stitches, no big deal, and I just will be continuing back, and then I will show you how I connect these 2 sides. So here I am, I'm going to slip stitch here, and then I'm going to slip stitch here to the opposite row basically. So let's do that like so, and now we're going to hold it like so, and we are just going to make slip stitches all the way. Like so. And yes, I'm doing it from the other side, because with the previous one I did the same thing, and it is here, and it just looks like it is part of the ribbing, so that's what I'm doing here as well. So yeah, you just finish this line, then you secure the yarn by chaining one, and you can snip it, and then you have your cuff done, and you the second one exactly the same way. Okay, so now the sweater is looking like this, and it is time to make the ribbing here, and we do it exactly the same way as the cuffs, and we will also calculate it the same way. The way I want to do it is I want my ribbing here to sit at my hips, so that's up to you where you want it to sit. If you want it to sit a bit higher, maybe at your waist, somewhere around there, then you measure that. But I'm going to measure my hips, and I'm going to put the number here. Then I will divide it by this or by the inch equivalent, and then you get a number. Then you count the number of stitches all over, and then you use the number and divide it by what you get here, and you get the number of stitches that you need to have for each row of the ribbing. Then you multiply it by 2, and you get the number of stitches that you need to skip wherever you will be slip stitching here. So I think that's pretty simple, and I'm going to start. So here I measured my waist in centimeters, hips, and it was this number. And then I divided by 0.7, and I got this. And then I counted my stitches. I had 20 in this side and 20 in this side, so that's 40 times 3, that's 120, and then here 1, 2, 3, 4 chain spaces, so that's 8, so that makes 128 stitches, and I divide it by this number, and I get 0.8, so I rounded it up to 1, and then I multiply it by 2, so I get 2, and that means that I have to skip 2 stitches whenever I get here. And I'm going to start making this ribbing by, let's say here, and I will chain 10. I made my 10 chains and then went back here with single crochet, so I have basically 9 single crochets, and now I'm not going to count this one as before, and I will skip to 1 and 2, slip stitch and work back, and we will basically just work the very same way as with the cuffs. We are now here, and I'm going to add lining to the neck now. So I will just place double crochets all over, and in these 3 points, 1, 2 and 3, I will do decreases. So let me show you. I'm going to place my jumper upside down like so, and let's start here in the free space. I'm going to attach the yarn there. And in this free space, since it is basically 2 chains, I'm going to place 2 double crochets, and I will do the first one like I usually do. So I chain 1 first, single crochet, and then single crochet again on top of it, then another double crochet, and now this is the first stitch of the first section, so let's just place 1 double crochet in each stitch until we get here. So let's meet here, or here. Now I have 2 stitches left till we are at this stitch basically, and then 2 more. And what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to transform this 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches into just one. So let me yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop. So far normal, like double crochet, yarn over and pull through 2. Then we yarn over and go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so far we went through 2 stitches and we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. 4 loops, yarn over, go through the next stitch, the 4th one, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we have 5 loops on our hook, and we yarn over and we pull through all of these 5 hooks, like so. And now we will continue making these double crochets until we again get here. I now got to this free space, so I will place 3 double crochet here, just so you know, because it is 3 chains, so that's where I put 3 double crochets. Okay, then please continue making these double crochets, and we will meet here, where you will basically only have 2 stitches left, just like in the previous corner. I have 2 stitches left, and I will do exactly the same thing. So yarn over, go through a stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go through the next stitch, 3rd one, pull up a stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go through the last stitch, 4th one, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Again we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, and we pull through all of them. Okay, and this is the way you're going to be continuing all the way, placing one double crochet in each, 3 double crochets here. Then in this corner we will do exactly the same thing and just finish the neckline. This round is finished, so now it's time to slip stitch in the first double crochet, which is here. Just a slip stitch, and also chain 1 and a snip. Okay, and this is it. This is your neckline. Let's take a look. Now it looks like this, and now we are going to weave in all these loose ends. Let's start with this one, and I'm just going to show you how I do it, and then you can just follow it and do all the loose ends the same way. I use a smaller hook, or you can use a needle, it's up to you. So I just go through these few stitches and I get the yarn and I pull it through. Like so. Let's actually go a few more, just so we are sure that it is safe and it won't unravel, like so. And now I will go back. You can even use the exact same path, you just have to have one stitch separating it. So for example this one, so I just go back through the very same path, and I don't use this stitch because that's what this stitch will just hold it in place. So again, get it on your hook or your needle and just pull it through. And when you go in one direction and then come back the opposite direction, it should be very safe and not unravel at all. Okay, so do all the loose ends like this. And now for the last step, I'm just going to add these little buttons in this approximate spacing, and I'm going to use this thread to do it, and you will also need a needle, obviously. So this is how I did it. I skipped 2 sections here, and that's where I placed my first butterfly, and then I skipped 4 sections in between of each butterfly. And now the jumper is now ready and beautiful, and you can wear it.